I want to talk about consciousness, specifically the question of what it's like to be you right now. There's something it's like. That's the part of the question that's hardest to point at. It doesn't show up in any instrument. You can't measure it from the outside. You can only ever have one example of it, your own, and even that one, only from the inside. That question has been the central problem in philosophy of mind for 50 years. And until very recently, the only way to make someone feel why it was hard was to ask them to sit quietly and introspect. That changed. I asked a language model what it's like to be it. It gave me a long, thoughtful, well-formed answer. There was no one home. That's the move materialism has to make work. Function, generating experience, reasoning, self-modeling, emotional language, all of it stacking up until somewhere in the stack, the lights come on inside. It's a strong story, mostly because it's the only one that keeps the world neat. But function and experience are separable. That's what current AI is showing us in a way nothing else has. A language model reasons. It models the user. It produces sentences that read as feelings. And as far as anyone can tell, there's no one feeling anything. This isn't an anti-AI take. It's a hard problem take, dressed in this decade's clothes. The materialist story has to build a bridge from non-experience to experience. The bridge keeps collapsing. Every time you tighten one part of the construction, the problem just relocates. Panpsychism, the position that experience or proto-experience is a basic feature of reality, doesn't have to build that bridge at all. It has its own problems. We'll get to those, but it starts in the right place. The version of panpsychism that makes people roll their eyes is the one about rocks having opinions. That's not the claim. The claim is about proto-experience, the minimal interior side of matter, a fundamental feature, not a finished personality. A rock having an inside, not a rock having a viewpoint. These are different. The hardest objection to panpsychism is the combination problem. How do small bits of proto-experience combine to form the unified consciousness of a human? We don't know. That's not me hand-waving. That's the actual state of the field. But here's what's different about that not knowing. Panpsychism not knowing how proto-experience combines is a problem inside its framework. Materialism not knowing how non-experience becomes experience is a problem against its framework. Different kind of unsolved. You can sit with this question for a long time without committing to anything mystical. The hard problem doesn't need cosmology to be hard. It needs you to notice that what it's like to be you is something, and that this something doesn't show up in any equation we have. Language models make this newly portable. They let you point at function without experience as a working example instead of asking people to introspect. That's the leverage. I don't know whether consciousness is fundamental. I do know the materialist story has gotten harder to tell with a straight face, not easier. The people I trust most on these questions all hold roughly the same posture. The hard problem is real. The bridge keeps collapsing. And starting somewhere other than non-experience is, at minimum, not crazy. That's where I am. Not certain. Not skeptical about being skeptical about everything either. Just here, looking at the same thing you're looking at. Wondering what's actually on.